everyone, and welcome to this next installment on justice and social justice in social welfare. This is part 6 for week 3, and of course the citation, as always, for the content in the video. This presentation will focus on Jerome Wakefield. His focus was less on what contributes to inequality and more on our profession and our role in creating a just society. He argues that what distinguishes professions from one another is their values and their codes of ethics. For social work, 2 of our values are key: the client's right to autonomy and self-determination, and working towards social justice. His theory of justice is as follows. It's actually based on Rawls's theory of distributive justice, some of which we'll cover when we get to the video on him. But for now, let me just briefly review this theory of justice. And here's the page number where you can find this very large quote, which we're going to break down, so follow along. So true to its Kantian roots, and let's just stop there and give a very brief, that's not going to do justice to his theories and his philosophies on justice and reason and rational thinking, but here's my attempt to sum it up. So he reconciled rationalism, which is the idea that knowledge is the product of reason, and empiricism, which is the belief that knowledge comes from experience. So he kind of reconciled both by saying that both reason and experience are necessary. Our minds shape and structure experiences, therefore experience is subjective if not processed by reason. Go ahead and pause the video while you try to process that information and then move on. Okay, so the theory presupposes that we are all rational and that we should be able to make decisions toward our own goals. Rousseau's notion of groups grounded on a social contract is also germane. So just a refresher on Rousseau from either high school or college. Again, briefly, the social contract is the agreement between individuals and government that gives legitimacy to the power of the state over the individual. So why would an individual enter into this contract? Well, because of the benefits that come from group membership. Okay, back to the quote. So this compact embodies an elemental trade-off. Individuals join social units and go along with their regulations in the belief that the group will be more efficient than scattered individuals in providing for their needs. This voluntary submission has a specific counterpart: the expectation that downstream social goods produced by the group will be distributed among all members. So if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, you can see this in action with The Sanctuary. And also true with Rick's group as well. But okay, moving on. So what is Rawls's idea of distributive justice that Wakefield is drawing upon specifically? So it has 3 principles. The first is freedom, the second is equal opportunity, and the third is the difference principle. I tried to do sort of a red, white, and blue theme here, but white on white did not work, so that's why we have black, but just go with me, okay? So freedom. This is the idea that people are free to do whatever they want as long as it does not interfere with the freedom of others to do what they want. This idea of freedom is very common in many societies and organized groups. Equality is the idea that if everyone, key here is if everyone has access to the same resources and privileges, etc., then any social and economic inequalities that exist cannot be blamed on the unequal access or structures of society. Again, because the presumption is that everyone will have the same type of access. Okay, the difference principle. Given these first two in terms of freedom and equality, then an unequal society is acceptable as long as the system functions to benefit the least privileged. Okay, so the idea here is that if we have these two principles in place in a society, freedom and equal opportunity, then an unequal society can be acceptable. However, the system should still benefit the least privileged as well. So a just society is one where these principles structure society and all have access to socially produced basic goods. This is the essence of Wakefield's argument. We'll talk about socially produced basic goods in a second. Okay, so according to Wakefield, how can we affect change? Well, justice is defined as the distribution of socially created goods, and social workers are important to ensuring this type of justice for all, especially our clients. So this is Wakefield's definition of justice. So a key social good, in this case I'm just defining what his definition is self-respect, which is socially constructed. So think about that. Self-respect is socially constructed. I don't think most of us normally think of it in that way, but this example kind of shows how it can be true in terms of individuals in low socioeconomic statuses feeling that they're powerless and therefore having less self-respect. But because self-respect is important in this context, since it involves seeing oneself as a valuable and contributing member of a group, social workers should foster, as my daughter says, I can't English right now, apparently. Okay, that should be foster. Social workers should foster self-respect in clients to allow them to achieve the goals of freedom and equal opportunity. How do we do this? Through therapy and psychological justice. And the therapy is supposed to lead to this sense of psychological justice. What is psychological justice, you say? Well, here it is from his very own biography. The psychological features individuals need in order to participate effectively in our society, given its special values and opportunities, is psychological justice. So it's the idea of self-respect as a social good. Oh, yeah, so this is the end of part 6. Next up, we have part 7. I'm trying to be creative here. Just throw me a bone. Okay, thank you for watching as always, and make sure you do go to part 7. Okay, thank you.